So fresh and so clean. Fresh ceramic coating. Probably like 3 months old with the coating. It's looking really good though. Even my front bumper, the part that gets hit the most. We did touch up as well, so I got rid of all the chips on the car. I had a dent guy come shortly after that and get rid of every last dent on the car. She is shiny to say the least. Needs some tire shine. I gotta order some of that. But yeah guys, she's looking fresh. This color looks amazing. See if I can get it to focus. Yeah, there we go. Kind of hard to see without sunlight, but the metallic flake black paint looks amazing from Bemmer. All right, gang, let's get into this exhaust review. I don't want to yap too much. Every video that I've seen on YouTube, not every, but a lot, I'm guilty of it too. We all like to talk a lot, so I want to get to the good stuff for you guys. So we're gonna dive right into this exhaust review. So currently, as I said in the last video, I have a 4.5-inch Mad catless downpipe, and it goes right to Dinan Valved Catback Exhaust. I would say catback, but it's really more like mid-back. I'll show you guys underneath if I can. Let's see if I can get a angle here for you. So, sorry about this, guys. All right, there we go. So you guys can kind of see, there's the valve right there. This guy right there. And when it's open, it allows air to come through this pipe. It's essentially a straight pipe once it's open. And then if that valve is closed, it forces air to go into this tube through the muffler, which takes space in the old OEM factory muffler spot. It's a bit smaller and lighter than the factory muffler. But yeah, once this is closed, air goes through here, through the muffler, and then out this tip. So the inner tips are muffled, I guess you could say. They're going through the muffler. The butterfly valves don't close fully like they do, but they don't hold all the air. So when I do start up, I will say I would like cover the when I had the muffler being used and the valve closed, I would put my hand on the straight pipe tip and air would still be coming out of this tip. So you would think if the valve's closed here to keep exhaust from coming through straight pipe and going through the muffler, that there'd be no air. But to my surprise, I was wrong. A little bit of air still comes through. So you will, it's not like it's fully going through a muffler. Some of it escapes and comes through the straight pipe. So it is slightly louder. I will say that this setup, when you have it in the mode where like the valve is closed and it's supposed to be going through the muffler, it's still louder than downpipe factory setup, catless downpipe factory setup. It is still louder in its quietest mode. It's fine if you're not getting on it and you're not flooring it or anything. Like, you can keep it quiet if you drive respectfully. But if you give it some juice, even with the valve closed, it's still gonna be pretty loud. Especially once it hits like 3,000 RPMs. Definitely expect this setup to be louder than your downpipe tune setup. This car, 2020 M340i, specifically came without the resonator. Factory setup on this car was catted downpipe straight back to the muffler. There was no in between. That's how this came. It looked factory to me. I think that's how it comes on the M's. Someone can correct me. I'm probably wrong. But I know that I have a buddy that has a Gen 1 B58, and he had to do a resonator delete in order to get straight catless downpipe to his muffler. There was a resonator in between. I think he had 2 resonators. So when I did my catless downpipe only and he did his catless downpipe only, I was significantly louder not having the resonators. Just so you guys know, the exhaust setups are different on the B58s between the M, the non-M, and I don't know if Gen 1, Gen 2 makes the difference, but I know the M package does not come with resonators. At least for my model, it didn't. The tips are pretty big, I'm not gonna lie. I don't have the biggest hand, but I do have an Apple Watch on that can be kind of a comparison. So they are big. They look good. I did black. They have a stainless option as well. I'm kind of going black theme with my car, so I don't want the stainless to stand out too much. Another shot from underneath. Give you guys like the full view. Go out to half. There's a muffler all the way up, and it basically connects up in your mid-pipe area where your resonator would be if you were a non-M. Something I will say real quick about this, sometimes you have to adjust the valves. They're not always like dead on the money. Mine like rattled a little bit and didn't seal fully, so there's no exhaust note difference between closed and open. I had to have my exhaust guy adjust the valves, so that is something that can happen, just so you guys know. If you install it, I'm not hearing any sound difference, there's a good chance that the valves just need readjusted. This hooks up to your factory OEM valve system. If you know or not, these cars come with factory valves, depending on which mode you put it in. So your factory controls here is where you're going to control the valves. So Comfort's valves closed, Eco Pro still valves closed. All these two are going to do obviously is change your acceleration and your pedal response and shifting and everything. So Sport is the only one that opens it up fully. So you go Sport, valves open. Currently when I start up, the valves are closed and it's in cold start mode, and once it fully warms up, like if I start it up in Sport, it will sound no different than starting it up in Comfort until it warms up. Now I haven't done it with taking the cold start option off my MHD tune. It's still on, it sounds freaking mean, especially paired with the roar start. So it'll start with the valves closed, and then once it warms up fully, if I start in Sport, I can literally hear the valves. Once the idle comes down to normal, I'll hear the valves go and open up. It doesn't matter if I'm Comfort or Sport when I cold start, it'll still be valves closed, like high idle type style. Once it goes to normal RPM, if you're in Sport, valves will open. If you're in Comfort, valves will stay closed. Just another little tip. With that being said, it's time for a cold start. I don't know if you guys heard that, but I caught it on video where I was explaining if you start it in Sport mode that the valves will stay closed until the idle comes down, and then the valves will open up once it hits your normal idle. I'm sure you guys heard it in the video. I did actually capture it, the little actuator noise you can hear in the background. Now, my neighbors aren't going to like this, but I'm going to give you guys some revs, closed and open. So I'm just gonna go back and forth. I'll start off with them closed and then I'll open. You guys will hear the difference. It changes the crackles as well. It changes the burbles when you go between Sport and Comfort also. So I'll give you guys some revs. here in my driveway, but we are gonna get some running clips behind the wheel. So stay tuned for the next shot. All right, gang, time for the fun part. I'm just gonna do casual driving right now. I'm in comfort mode. Casual for me anyways. Your boy doesn't like to drive slow, and the car does not like to go slow. At least in my mind, it doesn't. Not fully warmed up, but check it, guys. It's 55 degrees out. We like that. We're almost all the way warm. So, casual driving at 40 mile an hour in comfort mode. I got the windows cracked a little bit just so we can hear exhaust note, but nothing, nothing crazy. I'll give it a little juice and get it to upshift for us real quick. It makes the turbo sound really good in comfort mode with the valves closed. I feel like more of the noise comes from the front than the back. Well, not fully, but the noise coming out the back is reduced, so you're going to hear the turbo a bit more. I'll do a few little manual shifts for you. Small little pops, but here's second gear. Wow, that takes no effort. That was probably like half throttle, honestly, in comfort mode with the light shifts, and it still wants to rip. The temperature, and I'm on E50, this thing's wanting to go. All right, so you guys saw, I'm gonna switch it over to manual so it doesn't go back to auto. You guys saw me accelerating a little bit with valves closed. So now traction control off, of course, because you know what we're about to do. Sport mode, baby. So I'll do, again, I'm gonna do a little pull with valves closed. Sounds great. Downshift, barely any pops. I know what y'all have been waiting for. So, with that being said, Sport Plus, of course. Have to. Traction off. Alright. Can definitely hear the difference. Pops are a bit louder too. Not a bad view. Shifts are a lot crispier. Oh. There you go. At lower RPM, it's really not all that bad as far as like sound level goes. There's a little bit more drone in the cabin with windows up. Obviously I got them down, I want to be hearing the exhaust notes. But I'll give you a couple downshifts. Let's hit a little second gear spice with the burbles. And I'm gonna hit it. Spinning right through third. No problem. Alright, I'm gonna hit third gear here for you guys. Struggling to grip. Woo! That takes like no time at all. Wow. Car's loving the temperatures. Wow, guys, my hands are shaking. That shit was fast as hell. Trying to grip this steering wheel while it's spinning third. Crazy. All right, now your boy's got windows all the way down. Time to disturb the peace. Shoo. Jesus. I love that. Jeez. Oh yeah, no one's liking that. Third gear, 2,000 or 2,200 RPM. Will she hook? Nope. Shit. Just left some stripes back there too. Jeez. Y'all notice how I'm like not in comfort mode? It's too good. Literally, even when you let off the throttle, like past 3K RPM, it snaps when you let off. It sounds so good. Good Lord. Sorry guys, the video does no justice. This thing sounds radical in all the right ways. Jeez. Alright, well, I will be doing more videos of the exhaust. This is just gonna be the first one. It's probably already gonna be 12 plus minutes as it is, so I might add one more clip to this. I think I got an opening coming up here. Ballsy with it, first gear. Jeez. So this is the windows up test. So right now I'm in comfort, big chillin', driving normal. And again, you guys can hear barely any cabin noise at all. I'll give it like a little gas. Yeah, you can barely hear it. There's a slight drone at highway speeds. It's really not that bad. Again, you're putting, you know, a full exhaust on this with a catless downpipe, so to be expected. Pretty quiet. No issues here. Another thing I'm gonna add is that the turbo noise is significantly louder with this exhaust setup, like quite a bit. Alright gang, so I'm gonna I gotta close my sunroof a little bit. There we go, I had it cracked. Cool air feels good. But I'm gonna show you guys Sport. I'm gonna do individual because Sport Plus is freaking way too touchy unless you're like in manual mode, in my opinion. I'm just gonna show you what it sounds like in the cabin, just driving like normal. A little more drone. That's always fun. I love when the gear like kind of like when it does a gear shift, how it's trying to snap the gear, but it kind of stutters for a second because I have traction on. Turn left at the stop sign. Really just washed my car.
are all up in the air to get on my car.
Fun. Not only that, I've had to fight the pollen here, the rain. I'm in upstate New York. That's what I'm gonna say. I don't need to be super descriptive on where I'm at, but y'all can hear the background noise of the exhaust. This is sport and windows all up. It's not that bad when you're accelerating, you know, somewhat slowly, I guess. I'd say the only time the exhaust will vibrate or drone a little bit is like 1500-ish RPMs to 1800. Anything like 2000 and over, you're pretty good. But you guys can hear, it's not that bad. So, for everyone outside, I know they're hearing it, but yeah, so this is gonna cap the video off, guys. I know in the beginning I said I wasn't gonna like ramble too much. Probably did. Hopefully it's enjoyable somewhat and somewhat useful information for you guys. I'm gonna keep posting more. This is far from the last video that you're gonna hear the exhaust in, so I just wanted to do like a review quickly of what I have experienced with it, what it sounds like. I highly suggest if you're going for a valve system, it's between this or Valvetronics. Some people get Valvetronics through Alibaba. I've heard the fitment isn't always perfect. I've also heard some guys have it work no problem. I think it's like $800 on Alibaba, something like that. So yeah, I mean, if that works for you, feel free to get that. This setup shipped to me was $2,200. So, and it works great. I love it. I'm super happy with it. I think it looks phenomenal. The fit and finish is great. It fit perfect. The only thing I've had to do is adjust the valves that one time, and one of the tips was starting to slide off, so we had to adjust one of the clamps. But besides that, flawless, perfect. After about, I would say 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even slightly longer, the exhaust will fully break in and the note of the exhaust completely changes for the better. It's so much better. So I'm very happy with this setup. I hope you guys like the video. Subscribe, like the videos. I got more coming at you. See you guys. Hope everyone has a wonderful day.